Man, it feels good to hear that DC intro again. What is happening, DC fans and movie fans alike? Welcome back to the channel. I am DL, and this is another edition of my live. That's right. Don't adjust your television sets. Don't adjust your internet. I have once again taken over movie madness and entertainment. We're going to have some fun here today. I am joined by the madman himself, Mad Max from Movie Madness Entertainment. How you doing, Max?
Oh, I'm great. I'm happy to thank you, DL, for hosting this. Yeah, his channel is pinned comment on my channel. If you haven't subbed to him yet, he's getting close to that 500 mark. Go support this man over here.
Yes.
And I love this movie. I think it's a lot of fun, so I can't wait to see how you handle this discussion.
Oh yeah, we're going to be talking about Black Adam in huge, excruciating detail today. We are journeying back into the DC universe. As you guys know, it's been a while since we talked about DC, at least on my channel. I know on your channel you've been talking about DC nonstop. But but yeah, decided to get back into this. But yeah, we are talking about the latest entry of the DCEU starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. We will be talking about Black Adam on this edition of To the Max. I'm collabing on my channel and on Movie Madness and Entertainment. I don't know exactly what you have planned for your portion of To the Max. If you want to give a little preview about what.
Just recapping the best news and entertainment this week. I think I have 5 solid stories, so look out for that. I don't know, Zeno. I don't think he's gonna trash it.
Oh, you gotta wait and see. You gotta watch and see. You never know what's gonna come out of my mouth. So, all right. Let me check out the comments before we start getting into details. TWK's in the chat. What is up, man? Glad you can make it. Proto X. Just saw Black Adam this morning. Can't wait. I'm glad you enjoyed the intro. That is my intro for my streams. If you guys want to see more of my streams, you could check out my channel. My links in the description. For those of you who don't already know who I am, I'm DL. My channel is I Am DL, where I talk about movies and shows, everything in the nerd and geek culture. And for those of you who are watching on my channel who don't know who this person is or what MME is, so he does movie news, he does movie reviews, he talks about gaming as well. So you want to check out his channel. I'll put a link in the description to his channel as well, so you guys can check him out. I'll be popping in sometimes on his stream, so you never know when I come up. But there's a lot of madness that goes on his channel, so you
Definitely.
definitely want to tune in for that. Okay, and then we have the hater Isaac. You
Yes.
never knows what's gonna come out of my mouth. That's what I'm a guy. First of all, did you just assume my gender, sir? Oh my goodness. Don't get yourself in trouble, Isaac. Well, anyway, oh, Geek Getaway's here. What's up? Boo, Max is trying to steal my audience. Well, actually, technically, I am trying to steal your audience.
Yes.
Yes, it's my time now. I crave more power. All right, then. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get into Black Adam. And, of course, if you guys haven't seen the title, this is going to be a spoiler filled discussion. We're going to be talking about Black Adam in huge, excruciating detail. So, if you're one of those people that don't want to know anything about Black Adam, and you're one of those lucky souls that don't know anything about that mid credit scene that The Rock has already talked about, I encourage you to go see the movie for yourself and then come back and listen to the replay if you don't want to know anything. So, you have been warned.
I think that was really good warning. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, I just gotta make that clear. I like to be thorough and elaborate. I don't want people to get mixed up because we live in such a spoiler filled culture. I don't want to be the one responsible to be like, "Hey, you spoiled that for me." I was like, "Hey, first of all, it's in the title, and I just gave you that warning. So at this point, whatever you hear after this point, it's on you." So, anyway, getting into Black Adam. So, as far as Black Adam from the comics, um, yeah, I'm a fan of Black Adam. I think he's a very interesting character. Um, I'm more interested in like him as a villain to Shazam than him
Okay.
by himself. you know. But like I said, not to say that he's not like an interesting character to me. Like, of course, I know about him, but it's just like I'm just and I do kind of with the newer iterations of Black Adam from the comics, like they try to make him more of an anti-hero type of thing, like
Yeah.
a little bit more sympathetic character. So I'm like, okay, yeah, which I do find that stuff interesting, but like I do think like the most interesting stuff is when when he clashes with Shazam, and of course we all know the Kingdom Come story that they have with Shazam, Black Adam, and Superman, which I enjoyed
Ooh,
that as well. Which is something that I hope we see in the near future.
that would be great. I don't really know. Is there an animated one of that?
Yes, there is. I
Okay,
think
I
it's
should check that out. I should check
yeah.
that out.
I
Or
think
I
it.
could read the comics too, but
I
yes.
mean, hey, do both. You can do
Yeah.
both. Um, and I think it might still be on HBO Max. I'm not sure the animated movie. It's been a while since I checked on HBO
Mhm.
Max, but yeah, I did see the anime movie. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I think it was probably like around the 1800s when they first announced that Dwayne the Rock Johnson was going to be playing Black Adam. But no, like though it's I think it was been a long time since they first announced that he was going to play this character. At first, he was actually trying out to play Shazam. Like back
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Before they were like dead set on him being Black Adam. This was like way before the even the MCU was even a thing. Like this was probably like around 2007 where they were wanting to have him as Black Adam. But yeah, he first tried out as Shazam, but then yeah, he went on and got Black Adam. So fun fact for you guys. So this movie has been in development for years years and years and years
Do you think
before
that
the
shows with the story, like the kind of story seems like an old school superhero movie? Maybe it was even started out as a script then.
yeah, that's a possibility. That's definitely a possibility. Seeing certain elements that like felt like like this is something that they probably would have made like in the early 2000s for sure, but we'll get more details about that later. So like around like when the DCU was already a thing, that's when they said they were actually going to make it now. And I think they even like announced a Black Adam movie before they officially announced the Shazam movie. Like they were thinking about
Hmm.
Black Adam before Shazam, which was kind
Yeah.
of strange to me, because he is a Shazam villain. But I mean, I get like The Rock's like this big movie star, so it's like they want to put more emphasis on him, I guess, which is fine. But 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 to talk real quick about Shazam because they both have similar powers and they're connected. I did really enjoy the first Shazam. I
Hmm.
thought it was a really enjoyable time. Um, and I'm really looking forward to Fury of the Gods next year.
Yeah.
Um,
More
but
so
yeah,
now after seeing this
the,
because I
yeah.
prefer I prefer Black Adam over Shazam. Just to just
Ooh, hot take
yeah.
there.
I think overall Shazam's put together as a better movie,
hmm
but I enjoy Black Adam more. I have to watch it again, but I love seeing the JSA. It's just so great.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll definitely get details about that. But yeah, so going into this, yeah, after the first Shazam movie, it did make me look had me looking more forward to the Rock being Black Adam. Like it definitely got me interested to see like how what's his style going to be in his movie? How's it going to differentiate from Shazam? Like how dark is he going to get? Because like he's been saying for the longest time, and other people say for the longest time that he was born to play this role. Like,
Hmm.
which I definitely could see that. The only thing that kind of made me reluctant going in was that I love The Rock. Me being the wrestling fan, of course, I loved him as the wrestler, and it's like I do enjoy him in as a movie star. But like the one criticism that I have with The Rock is that for the most part of his roles, he's playing himself.
Hmm.
And it's like I wish that he, you know, took some roles that he was be able to like stretch out his acting ability a little bit more, because I feel like Dave Batista, who was also a former wrestler, he's trying his, to stretch out his acting range as well, and I think he's becoming a better actor with the more movies I've seen him in. And even John Cena, like even though it's very early in his acting career, you feel like he's trying, a little harder to like you know broaden out his acting roles as well. The Rock, it just feels like he's the persona for most movies I've seen him in up until this point. So like for Black Adam, I'm hoping that he would harness like a little bit more of a serious and darker, you know, performance. That's at least what I was hoping going in. Um
I think he reached that. I think it's a little bit different than his normal.
Definitely, which we'll definitely talk about. But yeah, I remember the trailer for the DC fandom I really liked. And like that was the one where he was in the cave and he was brutally killing everybody. And I'm like, wow, this is really dark for The Rock. Like I'm really looking forward to it. And then on top of that, hearing that the JSA was going to be in this movie, I'm like, I never thought we were going to see the JSA in a DC film like for the next 10, 20 years. Like they're not going to touch the JSA. Who knows about the JSA? But like I'm so glad they took a risk and was like, yeah, we're going to have them be you know, an important part of the movie. So I was like really happy about that. Pierce Brosnan being casted as Dr. Fate, seeing Hawkman and stuff like that. Like I was just really happy we're actually getting these characters on the big screen.
Hmm.
Now as far as like the actual trailers after the regular trailers that came out, they were kind of mid. They were fine. Like they weren't
Okay.
bad, but they didn't get me any more excited than I already was. So it's like, and I guess for a lot of people, they looked at that and they thought, this kind of looked like a generic superhero movie. And I'm like, yeah, I can see why you say that because like the trailers didn't like show anything like groundbreaking or like, wow, I gotta see this now. But like for me, I was already excited to see it. Like, we've seen movies with bad trailers that turned out to be really good. Then we see movies that that had really good trailers and they end up being really bad. So, you know, I was like, I'm just gonna leave my criticisms at the door. I'm gonna have an open mind and let's see if this movie was worth the wait. So now, actually, get into my thoughts about this movie. How did I feel about it? What did I think about Black Adam? Whew. Well, um, man, I had a good time watching this. I had a blast watching it overall. I thought it was a really fun time. Um, I will say, as you said earlier, Max, I really like The Rock in this role. I thought he was very good as Black Adam. He did show a little bit more range than what we were used to. He was very badass. He was very sinister. I was surprised with the body count that he had in this movie. Like they went that far with his performance, and I was really happy about that. And I really enjoyed the JSA in this film. I thought they were very good. It makes me want to see more from the JSA. I would want to see like a standalone movie with them. I thought they were that good. Um, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. This script, this script for this movie, this story, it's a mess. It, it is a mess. I'm not even gonna front with you guys. I'm sure a lot of you are expecting me to be like the DC fanboy that's gonna like, be the apologist for everything, and like you guys were expecting me to love this. No, I don't love this, guys. I don't. But I don't think I do think it's worth watching. I do think it's one of the better DC films that I've enjoyed. But I just, as I said, like this movie took so long to make. They had all this time to make a good script, make a good story. Like with them working on this film for so long and seeing how much we've evolved with the other comic movies that came out from Marvel and DC, and how they were able to have good story and good characters. Like it's hard for me to give an excuse to this film of like why didn't they learn from the past mistakes? As you said earlier, Max, this almost feels like a movie that came out in the early 2000s.
Yeah, and I
Like,
like a lot of those. They're fun.
I mean,
They are
yeah,
what they are. They're not trying to be anything else except comic book movies. That's it.
yeah. Oh, and you can send a link to them too, by the way, if you want.
Okay.
If you want, okay. But like, yeah, and it's like I know some people have fun with with some of the early 2000s movies. I mean, because that's how we got the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies and the X-Men films for people that enjoy that. But it's just like, let's be honest, like they took more time with building, like having us be more invested in what the character's development and having a coherent story. I don't want to keep comparing this to Marvel because I know it's not fair, but it's like it's
Oh,
the
go.
only
I would say go ahead.
it's just like because I have my criticisms with the MCU. You already know that, but it's just like one thing I can say about Marvel is that like you know, they have us invested in the character story, and for the most part, their stuff has been coherent. Now, Phase 4 is a different story. There's been some messy stuff in there. I agree with you, but before that, like, we had some concrete stories and stuff made sense. And stuff didn't feel all over the place. This movie feels all over the place, you know. Um, so I wish I could love it. There's a lot I enjoy about this movie. There's a lot. So it's not to the point where I think this is a waste of time. There's enough elements in here where I'm like, I can, for the most part, recommend this to people, but it's just like I can't deny. I can't really confidently say that this is all the way a good movie, if
No,
that
it's
makes
not a
sense.
masterpiece or anything. I agree there. I
Right.
say it is a good movie though. It's a good popcorn movie. It's a roller coaster ride. Sometimes I just want to go to the theaters. I like all the different types of superhero movies there are. I like the real intellectual ones, the ones that do a lot of social commentary. I like the whole gambit of, and I want them to be different. I want movies to be like this, and then we have other stuff too. So it's in my wheelhouse. I loved it.
Okay. Great. glad glad you had a good time with it. I mean, I did too, but I'm like, yeah, I'm glad you really enjoyed it. Um, so TWK says the fine movie, 7 out of 10. That's probably Yeah, that's probably around how I feel too. When someone says good popcorn movie, they just mean a bad movie with good action. I mean, yeah, that's almost how I would describe Black Adam. It's a bad movie, but it has some really good action and the performances.
It's
That's
not
another.
just action though; it's characters too. There's great characters.
Yeah, there's really good characters in this, and it's like, and here's another thing why I'm like, why like the story in this is kind of bothering me is because like, as you said, like, I don't want everything to feel the same. I could 100% agree with you. I don't want every comic book movie to feel the same, and I feel like that's something that Marvel has a problem with. But like, in my opinion, to make a great cinematic universe, you need to have movies and or shows that appeal to different demographics. So some things can be serious, some things can be for adults, some things can be for kids, some things could be a comedy, some things could be a drama, some things could be a sci-fi epic. Like, some things could be PG, some things could be PG-13, some things could be rated R. Like, to have a really like a to have a good cinematic universe, you should have things that can appeal to different people. So like, was I walking into this expecting like Man of Steel? Not necessarily, but here's the thing. Like, you see elements in this movie where they're trying to have that heavy storytelling with
Mhm.
with Black Adam, with his backstory and stuff like that. Like, there's some heavy Snyder influences in here that I felt. But it's like, you would have serious stuff like with his backstory at the beginning, and then it would cut to some silly stuff with the kid and the JSA, where it's just like, but wait, you had some really resonating stuff here earlier that you're not giving as much focus to. So it's just like, that's where I'm being like, it doesn't know this movie doesn't feel focused. It doesn't. Though it's the villain that destroys the film for me. You could get most other things wrong, but if the villain isn't right, that's where you
Mm.
lose me.
I understand that.
That I understand too, though. Not to throw shade at you, Abraham, but it's because I don't know how you feel like with the Marvel films overall. But it's funny
Well,
how some people say that, but it's like, there's for the longest time, and they still have this issue now,
w-
that people will give it a pass that the villain is bad in a good amount of the Marvel films. But like, but they say the characters what made the movie, like the main characters, the heroes are made the movies. We don't, we should, we're not there to really care about the villains that much. But I'm like, so it's funny to hear that criticism from certain people. Not talking about you, Abraham, but just other
well,
people
can I
who
can I
say that.
suggest this about the villain?
Yeah,
If you consider, because this is spoilers now, if you consider the guy that eventually became Sabak the villain of the
yeah.
whole movie, I think overall it's good. It's just his transformation to Sabak was a little bit of not as intense, and that may have been to keep it at a PG-13 rating. They might not have wanted a really intense devil hype character because that's basically what he is. It might have toned it down a little bit when he's got devil horns and shit. I'm so
I mean,
but
yeah.
but if you consider the whole altogether, like the character that eventually uh became uh, oh, if you want Eddie is here if
Oh
you want to
yeah,
bring
we
him up.
have another guest, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Oh, dang it. He just okay. There's something was up with his connection. Hopefully he comes
mhm.
back. But
But what
go
do you
ahead.
think if you consider the villain altogether with the guy that eventually became Sabak? I mean, you kind of saw that he was being a villain at the beginning too, but overall his story and his motivations was pretty legit.
I mean, yeah, for the most part. So a criticism that I've been hearing a lot. I guess we could talk about him now. So like, a lot of people, that's the biggest issue that people had with this movie was with Sabak. They felt like this was a villain that literally just came out of nowhere. There was no build up to him whatsoever, and he just felt like another video game final boss battle. So I agree I do agree for the most part that he did feel like a final boss battle villain. Honestly, I almost felt like this movie didn't even need another villain. They could have just stayed with the conflict between JSA and Black Adam, you know. But I will slightly disagree with people where they say that they felt like this, like he came out of nowhere, because like, if you were paying attention, they were talking about, how the crown had this unspeakable power that if fell into the wrong hands, somebody will be able to unleash that power. And they were talking about they were sprinkling that throughout the movie. So they were slightly building you up to whatever that power was, you know, when eventually we see who got the crown, in the wrong hands. And like, so they were slightly building up to that. So I wouldn't say it was out of nowhere. I think people were just like taken back with the fact that it was this devil creature. You
Yeah.
know, for people that don't know the comics, like, I could see how it would feel kind of random, but it's like, if you were paying attention throughout the movie, they were talking about, the crown had this power or whatever, but they just never thoroughly gave away what that was. So that's the only thing I would say about that. But like, those that being said though, Sabak as a villain, I mean, okay, I will say with the whatever that, and that guy that is
Mhm.
supposed to be like the ancestor of the slave owner
Yeah,
that
yeah.
would, yeah.
The
So
old
I guess,
king or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, so I guess there's slight, okay, so okay, we have another guest coming in. Hopefully his connection doesn't come out. But returning back to the channel, we have Eddie. Oh, and wait, we have one more. Oh, dang it.
Eddie said his connection's not doing good, but Brian's here.
But yeah, joining with me the first time on my channel, we have Brian, Master of None. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing good. Why do you guys keep talking about the card game from Star Wars?
What?
Which card game from Star Wars?
Sabak. Oh God.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, listen, you have to watch Solo to understand that.
You couldn't
I
even
almost
get
didn't
my
get
bad joke. God
I
damn
almost didn't get it.
Dude,
Was that the name of the card game? Sabak, exactly. Wow.
See, I don't play a lot of card games, to be honest.
it. No,
like
I have
3 of
to
them.
listen to this while I was on my way home, and I'm like,
No offense, CGH, but we're gonna stay on topic for the first hour. You could join when we go to the Maxx.
Yeah, we're gonna stay focused on my portion.
So I have a question for you, D. Are you
Yes,
a
sir.
DC fan?
I absolutely am.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Oh, because of the opinions that I've been saying already.
Your bias was showing.
My bias is showing. Oh, I'm sorry. I try.
It's
to
okay,
be as
it's okay, I
impartial as
understand.
possible. I literally try to be as impartial.
No,
as
I'm just saying,
possible,
like, okay, I've watched DL's like tier rankings and stuff, and he will take a Marvel movie to task, guys, to task, and he's like, when it comes to DC, he's like, well, it wasn't that bad, and the rest wasn't too bad.
No, okay.
But
The only
he will bury it. Thor: Love and Thunder. Don't get him started about how much he hates that movie.
I rewatched it this week.
I don't hate Love and Thunder, but I don't like it.
I like Black Adam better than Love and Thunder.
Now, okay, so just to retort that though, you guys, if you guys haven't seen my review for Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey and Justice League, that you would know I don't give every DC movie a pass. And even Wonder Woman 1984, I was struggling to defend that movie. But you guys need to see my
But you
reviews for those, and
defended
you'll
it,
see.
dude. If it was
I
a Marvel movie, you'd have slaughtered it.
No, that's
left
not
it up
true.
for a burnt offering.
That is not true. And just to say, and just to let you guys know, I probably need to do an updated review on Wonder Woman 84 because my opinion definitely has changed. I don't like the movie at all now. But like,
I remember I was one of the first ones in our friend group. I'm like, this is not good. And everyone's like,
Yeah.
Max is a Snyder cultist hater.
Oh no, trust me, I tried my best to like that movie because we were all like sitting there going, "It's great, right, guys? This movie's
right,
awesome.
it's good, right?
It's great. It's great. Can we stop smiling now?"
Right, but like there have been movies. Okay, let's try one
And
more
he said
time.
he'd leave him back in until he sees what is wrong with the connection. Leave him back there. So he's
Leave him there, back there. Okay, let's see
he'll
what
let
happens.
us know. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, there's definitely been some DC movies that I shat on. So don't think I give every DC movie a pass. But if you guys have seen my Marvel reviews on my channel, I gave 90% of them a positive review. It's just the certain ones that I don't like, you guys have an issue with. The certain ones that I decide to pick on, y'all like, how dare you not like Civil War or Thor Ragnarok?
That's why I get so afraid to share my opinions on these movies sometimes, because it's like, what if I like it or don't like it? Because how is the response going to be? So you're kind of like, it was okay, and then you just wait for everybody else to be like, oh god, I hated it, or oh, it's awesome. So it's like, is it okay to like this movie or not?
Hey, look, you guys don't have to like what I like. I want you guys to enjoy what you enjoy because, that's what you like. I have no problem with people disagreeing with me on anything. I just want to make sure we have a civil discourse and debate if we do disagree on stuff, because that's the great thing about movies, right?
Well, I agree. I think this movie came out at the wrong time. Like, if this movie would have came out 2010, 2000, 11, 12, in between there, where it's building as part of a whole story, you put that in between Man of Steel and something, you know what I mean? I think that would have been kind of fun, as a good world building, giving you another look at a villain. The feel of it, like you guys said, it felt like it was an early Marvel movie, and it really did. It was just really run of the mill, very standard. Like, it had all the tropes, and that's where it's just like, and that's where I'm starting to fall off with a lot of these movies, because it's like, okay, when you recognize the tropes, it's a bad thing.
You know what? It was so refreshing to just get those characters from DC again, though. Like, they're actually introducing new characters.
Well, see, I think
coming back.
Dude, when you're starving, everything looks like a steak. Seriously, dude.
Damn.
We've been eating good over in the Marvel camp. How much Marvel content's come out this year alone? And I'm talking about TV shows included. What? And thereabouts. Between all the movies and all the goodness. Okay. DC, we had the Batman that had no connection to anything. This is the first thing that connected Superman to anything since Justice League.
Yeah, and that's
Let's try Eddie. Let's try Eddie.
Eddie, welcome back to the channel. How you doing, sir?
I'm just saying, your expectations.
Maybe that's the wrong Eddie. It's the wrong Eddie.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, I totally get what you're saying, and it's like, for viewers of my channel, Brian is kind of jaded with superhero movies, as he's already explained.
I love them. Look at what I'm wearing, Brian. Look at what I'm wearing.
I like them. It's just, I'm not on the same level as y'all.
Yeah, it's like
so
you're feeling slight fatigue,
objective.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I totally understand that. Like, I even have, friends of mine that like feel fatigued, with everything coming out and certain stuff feeling like repetitive and similar things. So it's like, I totally understand what you're saying with that. And it doesn't help the fact that WB, like, they're all over the place with how they're managing DC in general. So, and it's like, it does feel like everything's all over the place. I totally don't disagree with that, but it's just like, as I said, I am a DC fan, and my whole life I've been waiting for having these characters, actually have their moment to shine, because like for a long time it's just been Superman and Batman. You good?
Yeah, I almost dumped my drink. Cool, stayed on.
That would have been bad. But yeah, I'm just I'm just happy that these characters are actually getting their own movies now. Characters I never thought we would actually see, like the Justice Society. Like, I never thought that would happen, and for the most part, I enjoy watching them. I feel like the actors playing them, they're giving really good performances, and they're making me want to see more. Like, just seeing, it's the potential that we're seeing from these DC movies, where it's like, I don't want to write them off completely. There's so much great potential with these characters and this world that I just don't want them to throw away or just do whatever they want with them, because like people don't understand how these characters are. So it's just like, it is frustrating. So I definitely see where Brian's coming from, but like, I'm enjoying these movies for what they are, and I feel like they're in a lot better state than they were back in 2013 to 2017.
I was having deja vu. Like, I felt like I'd already seen this before, and there was like elements of Shazam where I'm just like, dude, that the kid is Billy or the other kid, not Billy, but his friend, where it's like, writing down all the superpowers. Oh, you got lightning? Oh, you got this? I was like, oh, what the hell is this, Shazam? And then Shazam. I'm like, God damn it, man.
Yeah,
all right.
It's like, and yeah, it is kind of frustrating that like you literally see the blatant copying of Marvel. Like when you talked about
Oops, sorry.
Shazam, like the one thing that came to my mind
Is my volume
was,
better?
yeah,
That's
your
good.
volume's fine.
Okay. Making
Yeah.
sure.
Like
Somebody messed with my gain.
yeah, like Shazam was giving major Spider-Man Homecoming vibes, and I'm like, what? Like down to like
Yeah!
the Etch-a-Sketch end credits. They both have Etch-a-Sketch end credits. I just realized that. I'm like, you literally just. And then we're gonna talk about in this movie that there are little stuff that they copied from Marvel. Like, yeah, everyone talked about the Quinjet coming out of the garden and from the mansion, like X-Men, and then Doctor
I just-
Fate having that, that you seen the inside of his helmet like Iron Man does, and I'm like, why are you blatantly not? And then Hawkman's
Okay,
stuff
Eddie.
comes out of nowhere like Iron Man's nanotech. I'm like, why are you blatantly copying this stuff? You don't need to copy this stuff verbatim. Now I can give it the benefit of the doubt sometimes because these characters copy off each other always from the comics.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's
I
like
mean,
stuff
we're
will
30
start
plus movies deep. If you add both the 40 movies deep, if you add both together, DC and Marvel. So obviously you're going to get overlap and copying and, similar story beats. But like, I just felt like it was like watching Dune. It was like, where have I seen this before? Like throughout the whole movie. And I guess you could consider it a knock because it's like, but I don't know. It felt really unoriginal. Generic is the term that I would use, and I think it aptly describes it. Unfortunately,
Yeah, unfortunately we live in this reality where it's like it doesn't matter like which iteration came first from the comics because nobody's researching that. It matters what got on the screen first. Unfortunately,
basically,
so that's where we are. So that's where you're going to see people comparing Dr. Fate to Doctor Strange. And that's why in Wakanda Forever, they can't make Namor the King of Atlantis because Aquaman is already the King of Atlantis. This stuff has already been happening. Like, Shazam can't be called Captain Marvel because they already got a Captain Marvel in the MCU. So it's frustrating. But, like, this is the reality that we live in. It doesn't matter what came first in the comics. It matters what came first on the big screen.
true.
So... But okay, but let's try to get a little bit more positive because like I know we've been griping so far, but there are things to enjoy about this movie. I actually want to hear from you, Brian. What did you think about The Rock as Black Adam? Because I thought he was really good.
He was good. He's serviceable. I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't playing The Rock. It was fine. I kind of got like Scorpion King vibes.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. Like he was like an ancient Scorpion King Terminator.
Kind of, yeah.
Feels
but like. I mean, no. Overall, I mean, I didn't hate it. I wasn't over the moon about it. So I don't know. It was fair to middling. It was funny. My mom came to visit me today, and I was like, "It's nothing to write to mom about." As I was telling her, so,
that's good.
No, it was okay. They didn't want to know spoilers, so I didn't say spoilers. So we're good.
Yeah. Well, you can spoil away now because this is.
Oh no! Now
you can.
Go.
Oh, because
no, it's just I really liked Atom Smasher, but his mask was straight up Deadpool ripoff, and like that was all bad because it looked just like freaking Deadpool except blue and red.
Okay, so hold on a second about that, because like, okay, I get that Deadpool right now. Again, I just said like it doesn't matter what came first in the comics; it matters what's on screen first. So yeah, Deadpool's the only one with the mask with the wide eyeballs. But it's like, it's just annoying me that like people immediately just go to that. Like there hasn't been any other characters that have a mask with wide eyeballs.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So I mean that's just a nitpicky things, but I understand why people say that. But it's just like if you've seen any images, like not Batman had white eyeballs. Like why are we looking at these characters that are doing it and be like you copying Deadpool? I'm like he's not the originator of white eyeballs. Oh, we got a guest coming in. First time on my channel. But you've seen him on Movie Mass Entertainment numerous times. We have William. How you doing?
What's up? Who let you host the show? Nah, I'm just kidding. What's up, man?
I took over. And actually, I made a mistake. He was on my Batman '89 stream, so it's good to have him back again. But hey, since you're here, tell us what did you think about Black Adam, good sir?
I thought it was a severely flawed movie, but it was fun. If you sit and analyze any movie, you could rip apart Casino if you wanted to, but the pace moves in a way that really covers a lot of that. And I didn't show up for this in-depth, thought-provoking movie. I showed up to watch people get blown up, to people have their arms ripped off, to people get ripped apart, to see some over-the-top special effects, and it checked all the marks for me. And like I said, it's a movie you go to see in an arena type situation with people. I could sit for the next 5 days and tell you that the enemy, the final boss was lame and could have been extracted without hurting the movie. The kids' dialogue was bad. The story was weak. I could tell you all that, but when you put all that on the screen, it overwhelms any of that. I mean, you really have to sit and search for some of those things. If some of those things came up, that's fine. But a lot of it, they aimed this movie at the people that they knew were going to buy into it. They really didn't. And you can see from the critic score, they did not give a rat's ass about critics or detractors for that matter. This is what something that is a turning point for DC films in general. Ignore the detractors. And if you have people that are going to give you their money, you put your tunnel vision on them. Fuck everybody else. And that is something that they could not do from 2013 all the way up until 2021, 22. They could not do that. That was the main thing that inhibited DC film from becoming anything. The first fanboy that shit in his pants, they put all the attention on that guy and ignored everyone else that was literally had their wallet out, had their cash out. Ignore those guys. Let's go listen to the critics who are going to see a romantic comedy the day before and a bromance the day after in a comic book movie in between. Let's go listen to those guys who, by the way, aren't paying anything to see these movies. They get in for free. So now let's start focusing on the people who actually pay and prop up your movies. And I thought that this movie, like I said, it's not The Godfather Part 2. It's not Blade Runner. It doesn't try to be. They knew what their mission was, and they achieved it.
Yeah. As I mentioned on one of Max's streams the other day, like this literally gave me a similar experience of me watching Godzilla versus Kong. I know that movie's bad. I know the plot's all over the place, but it is such a fun time. It's a thrill ride from start to finish. It gave me moments that I've always wanted to see.
Fun.
Huh?
Yeah, I said I'd agree with you if it was actually fun. There were parts in that movie where if my back didn't hurt so bad, I'd have fallen asleep.
That's
the human interest stuff
they
could have taken out.
You mean to tell me that you didn't enjoy any of the action, like the JSA versus Black Adam? And
I've seen it before. That's what I keep trying to tell you. It's like I guess I'm jaded, but it's like, guys, I am not putting over a movie that was so mid that like it wasn't even worth sitting in my car reacting to.
So big.
I mean,
hey, you don't hurt my feelings.
No. I'm just saying, like, I will stick by my thing. If you are starving, everything looks like a steak.
Well, we're starving for DC for sure.
You were starving for DC content, so anything, just anything, would have been over the moon.
What?
I mean,
because
I'm gonna fight back on
when
that.
Birds of Prey came out, I was starving, and that movie sucked. And I said,
that movie sucked.
Well, you got an egg sandwich, so all you wanted was a steak.
I like that scene. I love egg sandwiches.
But I'm just trying to tell you, dude, I'm sorry. You've been in a drought of content. Of course, this movie's going to be awesome.
But I've also been inundated by mediocre content too. Like I said, I mean, the Love and Thunder. That's
all
not
I have to say is we need to get to a point in movie talk where we don't get offended by other people's opinions.
I'm not offended. I'm just like, come on, man.
Like it's fine.
Have a little levity here, man. I get it. You're DC fans, but come on, man. Like,
I
try to be a little objective here. Like, goddamn.
You see, that's the thing. You don't have to be objective when it comes to movie. Objective is not even part of the game when it comes to movie. Each one of these guys on this screen, all four of us paid our money, and we got what we got out of it. That's really what it is. How did you feel when you left the movie theater? I've seen movies that are complete trash, but I came to see the T and the A, and the heads get ripped off, and the cars blow up, and the people get shot up, and whatever that director was he made a deal with me. Whatever he said, I'm going to make this movie because I know what you like. They know their fans, and they went to go see it. Like it's not is Black Adam going to be for everybody?
It's probably overstuffed. They probably went above and beyond to deliver stuff because we were in a drought. Yeah.
Well, and the problem, like I keep saying with this movie, is it should not have had to bear the load of a lot of things that it had to bear. It has to bear the load of mismanagement. This movie shouldn't have came out and been the home run hitter for any type of film company. But because things had been managed so poorly before, now here we are looking for an outsized result from Black Adam when really, and under better management, it would have just been a complimentary movie. It would have been a stepping stone from one piece to another. But because of mismanagement, we haven't had proper things in proper places for 8-9 years. We're looking at this to be Babe Ruth instead of looking for base hits. And this movie is a base hit. It moves the game forward. That's all it does. It's not the greatest thing of all time. And sometimes it's not really good. But good doesn't necessarily equate to fun all the time and the other way around. It was a fun ride. It was a fun night at the movies.
Yeah.
And that's all it really needed. It's all it needs to be. It didn't need to be great. It just needed to be the first base hit in a while. You need to get a guy on base if you're going to get him home. And that's all Black Adam really is at this point. It did its job,
Yeah. And it's like, I'm going to speak for myself, like I get where Brian's saying, like, you've seen the same CGI fight in numerous times, it's like how, like, it gets repetitive for certain people, which I totally understand that. But like, it's not just the fact that like we've been starving for DC content. And I'm just waiting to see people punch each other through buildings. But it's the fact that I legit think that the action and visual effects in this movie are outstanding. And
the cinematography is great. The cinematography, especially for the flying scenes, when they're the hovering scenes and the angles, I thought that stood out for me.
That was really good. And it's like, and as I said, I really like these characters. I'm invested in these characters. I thought the JSA, all 4 of them, were really entertaining to watch, and I really like The Rock as Black Adam. So like, even though the story is kind of weak, like the characters at least are keeping me in. Yeah. Like if I didn't care about the characters at all, I'd probably be in the same boat as Brian. Like everything feels like visual noise. But like the fact that at the very least they're having me like these characters, that's enough for me to be like, I will watch this again, and I'm having a good time watching this. On top of the fact that the visuals and the action was really good in this movie, like it was almost Man of Steel level awesome visual effects in this film at certain moments. Not all the time. There's some stuff there it did.
Yeah, like the Sabak CGI at the end looked like claymation. That was horrible. But what they were trying to do here is give you enough of everything that you saw to want more. Everything in that movie was they weren't thinking about just one movie when they made that. They clearly wrote that movie, and that's why some of the character development isn't there. That's why a lot of it is underdeveloped. But at the same time, it is to move the whole conversation forward. And it's more than just about this movie. This movie, you can say whatever you want about it. It's about how people were feeling when they walked out of the movie. The conversation before was, okay, when I walk out of The Suicide Squad, what am I walking into? I don't even know when the next DC movie was coming out. Or when I walk out of The Batman, oh, great, I get to grow old, and 3 years from now, I'll have another The Batman. That's wonderful. That's a buzzkill. But when we were walking out of this movie, both times we screened it, people were talking about the potential of what's next. That's the thing. Now we look at all these movies that we've been talking about for 5 years, The Flash, Aquaman, and Shazam, just movies that have just been hanging out there because we know how they've done business with just throwing stuff against the wall. Now we get to look at these movies in a different light, in a different connectivity context, and that alone is a win for them, regardless of how much the movie makes. They inherited this movie. They inherited whatever losses they take with this movie. This movie was mostly in the can before the ink was dry in the merger. So, but if they can get the conversation going in the right direction, the what's next conversation, instead of that confusion of what's next, then I think that's a win alone for them. You'll make your money if you get those base hits.
I agree. But I want to get into more details with the characters. I want to talk about each member of the Justice Society. Let's start with Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, who, in my personal opinion, he was my favorite. He was my favorite. Even though I enjoyed all 4 of them, he stood out to me. When he was first casted as Dr. Fate, I was like, perfect. It was perfect. The only thing I wish they got him sooner because he's like, how old is he? Like 70 years old right now?
69, 69, 70. Yeah, right
69?
about
Yes. I wish they got him a couple years earlier so we can get a little bit more longevity in him because like he was Dr.
Well,
Fate.
does it
man.
matter at this point? Because we're in spoilers now because he's gone.
I know. Yeah, I guess
Well,
I'm thinking
that
like
version of Dr.
Oh,
Fate is
that
gone.
killed me.
that version of Dr. Fate. Yeah, that's where I'm like,
I mean,
kind
they
of
could go
expected
back
him.
and do a prequel series or prequel limited something, but
If they do a prequel, they need to do it like now. Like they need to get the ball rolling because he's not a spring chicken, bro. Like they
for
need
that
to-
role, you don't need to be. You don't need to be
I
because
like
he's
Pierce Brosnan, but I didn't need to see. I don't need to see another. I need to see another Dr. Fate. I need to see more Dr. Fate. But
That's what I was gonna say.
I think Pierce Brosnan did all he needed to do. He set the tone of the character for the next guy playing him. You can clearly say he was handing that helmet off to the next guy that ever plays Dr. Fate and the Mystique. You didn't learn a lot about these characters, but you got enough to want to engage them again, including Black Adam. Everybody but the kid and her brother. Those I don't ever need to see them again.
That
But as
damn
far as
kid.
like Cyclone and Atom Smasher and Hawkman, there's just enough there for you to be like, yeah, I can imagine seeing them in another situation, and that's the conversation starter. That's what this whole thing's about. Box office is great. I'm pretty
I have a
everybody wants to
question.
make more money.
Do you
know?
guys just like hate comic in general, or is it just anybody that tells a joke in a DC movie?
No, if it's okay, comic.
I'm trying to figure this one out. Like Jesus, Mary, and
I'll
Joseph.
answer you real quick. It depends on if it goes along with the pacing in the moment. Humor is good if the writing is good. The problem with the jokes didn't land because the story didn't land. But if you watch, I mean, The Rock cracked some jokes and one-liners as he was trying to learn how to be a modern age. Like when he was trying to get the whole the Man in Black is back with all that, or when he killed that guy. And Dr. Fate's like, I need a prisoner so I can probe his mind. And he's just like keeping that stone face. And you see the guy dying in the background.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Humor is fine. It just has to be placed in the right areas of
my
of
subjective
story.
take on humor in comic book movies is when they go for the joke over the action in the comic. Like I feel like Taika Waititi. I like Taika Waititi, but sometimes he will do the joke, put that priority
It wasn't
over
even a joke fest. It had like 2 goddamn jokes in the whole fucking movie.
Which movie are you
Love
talking
and
about?
Thunder?
What were you talking about?
Black Adam.
Oh, Black Adam. Oh. Well,
Oh no, the brother was trying to be funny. Not like literal jokes, but the humor was there.
He was the only part of that movie that was any good.
Oh my!
I'm
goodness.
telling you, man.
Adam Smasher
Okay.
was funny. My wife laughed out loud.
Yeah, I
Levity,
thought Adam Smasher
levity.
was
Somebody
funny.
to break the tension. Like
Yeah,
I
when
swear to
when
God.
Hawkman got
This
I
is
didn't
why I
feel
can't
attention.
stand. I
I
can't
didn't feel
stand
attention to
DC
that movie.
movies. Fuck.
Oh, wait,
Why
time out,
so
time-
serious? Why so
That
serious?
movie was not
Time out, guys.
serious. dude.
Time out, guys.
That
Time
movie
out.
was-
Time out, everyone. Hold on. We have another guest.
Uh-oh.
Joy, bring to the channel.
Stay on target.
Yes, please stay on target before I bring you in. This person, please stay on target. Don't be doing random
Too
subjects.
late.
We ain't doing this while I'm in control. But we have CJH. How you doing, good sir?
Hello.
I mean,
How you
much-
Now,
I'm doing
before
good.
that's good. Good. Glad you can make it. Before we get to your thoughts, CJH, I do want to address Brian's thing about humor. So for me, I mean, if you guys have watched my channel, you guys know I have covered this in many videos. A lot of people think that I don't like humor in comic book movies at all. Like,
I'm one of them. I'm one of those people that thinks
okay,
that.
well, let me alleviate your thoughts, and let me alleviate the thoughts of the other viewers who think that way as well.
I think I've heard you, but I still don't believe you.
Yeah, I know, but
Wow.
I know. You probably still won't believe me after I explain it to you now, but I just want to put this out there for people, just to have an understanding of where my head's at. So keep in mind, my taste of humor is very subjective.
Yeah.
And I have a low tolerance for lowbrow humor. I'm just going to put that out there now. And as far as comedies in general, there are very few comedies that actually made me laugh out loud. So let me just put that out there. So
what are you calling me, stupid?
No.
Call me
I'm
Damn, dude. That
just telling
escalated.
you. No, I'm just telling you.
Good shit.
People's level of humor is different, which I understand. But like for me, people need to try harder with me. That's just a me thing. That's not a movie thing. That's just a me thing. But that being said, I don't have problem with humor in comic book movies. Like, here's a fun fact for you guys, for people that think I hate humor in the Marvel films. Guess what my two favorite franchises are in the MCU right now? Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
What about Spider-Man?
Those two are some. I mean, no. I mean, I do enjoy the Spider-Man films, but like, I don't love all of them. I love No Way Home, but I just liked Homecoming and Far From Home. But like, Ant-Man and Guardians are two of my favorite franchises in the MCU right now, and they have comedy as well, and they have jokes that land for me. The problem I have with humor in Marvel and in comic movies in general is if they come in at the wrong time, where we're supposed to feel like a serious emotional moment. There were times where, especially with Marvel, they would throw in humor or a punchline after we're supposed to have this heavy, serious, emotional moment with somebody to alleviate tension where they don't need to. Or they would have humor that would feel very lowbrow or like winking at the audience. That's how I feel. Other people won't feel that way, but this is how I feel. There's certain humor that they throw at the audience that they feel like they're winking at the audience, like they're intensely trying to make the audience laugh on purpose, and it doesn't feel natural to the story and the tone that they're setting in the film. So that's my main problem with it. Now, I'm not saying that Black Adam's humor worked all the way through. It didn't. There's quite a few
Half the
moments
jokes didn't land.
half the jokes didn't land, especially with the kid and the brother was awful.
I thought the brother was funny.
I didn't care
That's
for the brother.
hilarious.
I personally didn't care for the brother, but like the stuff
I relate to him.
Baby, come back. Oh.
But I'll tell you this: the humor with Atom Smasher, I thought was good. The stuff with him and a Cyclone, I thought was actually charming. The romantic stuff with them, I thought that was good. The banter between Hawkeye and Black Adam, I thought was kind of funny. Whenever Atom Smasher accidentally hits Hawkman, he's like, "You and me."
You and me.
Oh, dude, that was funny. I thought that was funny. So it's like, you can have humor in comic movies, but you have to make sure they're placed in the appropriate times and doesn't tonally clash with the film like it does with other comic movies like Love and Thunder, where it's like I can't take anything seriously in that movie because the whole film felt like a parody, at least in my opinion. If you like Love and Thunder, please don't let me take that away from you. But that's just that's how I feel
Continue
about it.
to enjoy it.
overall.
I
Don't worry,
only
I
reason
will
I
let
didn't
you
walk
steal
out
my
of Love and
sunshine.
Thunder is because I had to do a survey afterwards. But you know what? Plenty of people love Love and Thunder, and like I said, these movies are out there for the people who enjoy them. So it's just they're out there. I never have to watch Love and Thunder again. But the other people who love Love and Thunder can watch it every single day of their lives.
I
If they
watched
watch
it. I watched it again the other day,
Yeah,
and
I will not
I
suggest it
like
myself.
certain
Thank you,
things
Disney
better.
Plus.
But
Yeah, here we go, streaming.
talk
But-
about that Gore the God Butcher was just like, whew, that's a
Ooh.
dark character, and it just
Exactly.
it didn't
And
match the tone, the levity of the rest of the movie. It was just
In
so
the same
completely-
movie, we have Russell Crowe
In a tutu.
talking about
Oh.
in a tutu talking about orgies.
That was funny.
The great Russell Crowe, by the way.
Oh
The
no,
great
Brian,
Russell
we're not
Crowe.
getting
Like,
into
Brian,
this.
Brian,
I'm done.
right,
I'm not
right.
talking about comic book movies any fucking more, dude. Excuse my language. I don't mean to. Oh God.
No,
Just
no,
stop.
it's okay.
No.
Look, as I said, if you enjoy that,
God damn
like,
it, dude.
I don't have there's nothing wrong if you enjoy that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong.
No,
with
I
any-
just can't stand how you guys just totally crap all over Marvel movies and
I
put
love-
over the most mid movie possible.
No, I
Just
crap
because
over Thor.
it has
Love
the
and Thunder
movie,
because
the
it was
word
a piece of
DC
shit
in the
movie.
title. Get the-
again, 90%.
Get out of here, man.
I gave 90% of
You
the
picked the
Marvel.
worst movie that they put out in a while to make it your example.
I'm
There
not
are
talking about
great
you,
Marvel
T. I'm
movies.
talking about William,
Uh,
who shits all over every Marvel movie ever made.
That's not true.
Again,
That is false.
I guess I once again want to
Oh,
make
sorry.
clear-
Not every Marvel movie, but most of them.
Just under half.
God damn. I feel like I'm talking to Enosh. Is Enosh here?
Oh,
Hey,
no.
I'm not the one who said Thor: Love and Thunder is a great movie. That's where you got that. That's not a good movie.
I didn't say it was great. I said I had fun. Not like this one here, where I was just like, I was bored out of my wits end, and I'm
Okay.
like, oh man,
Okay.
here comes another
With the
classic
worst Marvel
comic
movie
book
ever
movie
made.
trope.
Okay, order.
We gotta rein it in. We
You
gotta rein it
order.
in.
in my opinion, with the
Order.
Howard the Duck of the modern era in Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah.
Okay, we will have order in this piece.
This is
You
the
can
L
have
show,
pi-
not
you
not
can have-
MME.
Exactly. You can have chaos
Well,
on
it
the
is,
floor
but-
next to Lounge. You can have chaos on MMB. You ain't
Hey!
gonna have chaos with DL's live. I'm telling you right now, we're gonna have order.
Oh,
That
wow.
being said,
Okay.
I'm
When
the
I
only
say that
one
with
not
love because I
causing
love you
I'm gonna
guys.
play Minecraft. We're just chilling.
I say it with love. I say it with love, guys. I just want to make sure everyone is heard.
Say it
that's
with love
why I
and
say
thunder.
it. That's why I say it. I just want to make sure everyone's heard.
I'm
That
the
being
only
said,
calm person
CJH.
here.
Yeah, exactly. Which I was getting to CJH. Please tell us what your
didn't see
overall
the
thoughts
movie.
on. Oh,
I
you
didn't
see.
see the movie.
Why are you here?
Because
I
he
was-
thought it was to the max.
Oh, you're waiting for To the Max? Okay. Well, if you don't care about spoilers, go ahead and sit on. You probably already know most of the stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Because
I'm waiting for an HD copy. I'm not going to see it at theaters.
See, that's why I put this.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's continue on. Let's talk about the rest of the Justice Society. What do you guys think
This
about
movie-
Aldous Hodges, Hawkman?
This amazing. This movie exceeded my expectations because not only is it a great Black Adam movie, it's a great JSA movie. Like I was
The only
worried.
JSA movie.
You're
I
right,
want a
thanks.
JSA movie for sure.
Shouldn't
Glass half
this
empty,
being
thank you.
a JSA movie with Black Adam as a villain?
It was
That could have been it.
It was
Honestly,
kind of that way.
That almost
yeah.
was it until the third act.
Yeah, it was that for half the movie.
You know.
So
So-
but yeah, it succeeded. It exceeded my expectations on being because I thought the JSA were going to be underserved a little bit, but I think they got equal billing.
Yeah.
You know,
I will say for Aldous Hodges, Hawkman, that was kind of a weird choice at first because, like, nobody thought Aldous Hodge would be a perfect choice. It's almost like Will Smith playing Deadshot in the 2016 Suicide Squad movie. Like, nobody thought he would be Deadshot, but he made the character his own, and that's what I felt Aldous Hodge did with this version of Hawkman. He made
Nobody I
character
saw
his
the movie
own.
with knew who he was. Most of the people in both screenings did not know
just
who
so
he
we're
was.
clear, I'm not pirating the movie.
Oh, thank you for making that clear. We don't endorse that over here. Well, I don't know. I don't know if certain people don't do. I don't know. Anyway, I don't endorse it. But anyway, but yeah, as you said, William, like most of the movie-going audience don't even know who Hawkman is. Probably more people know about Hawk Girl more than Hawkman. But like, so I guess there'll be more leeway for them to do their own version.
Opened up at 40 million. It's already past 40 million, isn't it? Well, if you include the overseas, yeah. If you include the overseas, it's closing them on 62, I think.
Right. And while Hawkman did have similar like nanotech technology that reminded me of Iron Man, I still thought his suit looked absolutely awesome. It is badass. That gold and red, that was awesome. And his helmet looked amazing. Like, I loved his entire suit. I loved it.
we haven't seen a winged superhero this well done because we've seen X-Men, Archangel. We've also seen the Falcon from MCU, and I think this surpassed the Falcon. It's not exactly the same type of character, but winged superheroes, this is the best one.
Yep, and we don't talk about that gold wingsuit in Wonder Woman 84.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Yes, we know, Rhea. Aldous Hodge.
Wow.
Yeah, I said Aldous Hodge. Did I say something else?
No. She's just happy to say that
Well,
name.
what do you think
Aldous
of
Hodge.
Adam Smasher?
Oh yeah, let's get to Adam
And,
Smasher. Yeah, Adam Smasher. I really surprised me. I was least excited about him because I'm like, I don't know. I didn't really care for Adam Smasher that much in the comics either, and even watching him on the Justice League animated series, I'm like, Adam Smasher, okay, great, but like, I actually really liked him in this movie. I thought he was funny. I thought he was charming. I thought he was endearing, and I especially like his the chemistry that he had with Cyclone in the movie, and I also really enjoyed Cyclone as well. I wish they had more to do because it felt like they put Hawkman and Dr. Fate front and center a little bit more, and they were the rookies, which I did like that dynamic, but I wish we could just see a little bit more from them because I really liked what they did. I liked their powers on display, and as I said, I liked the chemistry between the two. So if we get a JSA movie, I would like to see their roles expanded a little bit more.
Do you wish they had Green Lantern and Flash, the originals?
I absolutely do, but I understand why they didn't do it because they want to save the Flash stuff for Ezra Miller's movie, and then of course they want to wait to use Green Lantern in either the show that they're doing on HBO Max that I think should be canceled, or they're going to wait to do the reboot movie, whatever they're going to do with that. So I understand why they didn't have them in here, but I
plus,
really
it's a
wish
Black
they
Adam
did.
movie. They
Yeah,
would
well,
have had. But you're talking about two higher tier, even though they're not the ones that we're thinking. You put
Yeah.
the Flash and Green Lantern. It's these other characters. Most of, like I said, almost nobody that I saw that I went to night screenings with knew who they were. But they're gonna know. You hear that name, the Green Lantern and the Flash. You're gonna have. It's a little bit different situation. And plus, like I said, you'd have to explain the time difference and everything else. And them doing this as a modern JSA in modern times, they would have had to explain more than they had time to. And that's something you can explain down the
Oh,
line.
that was
you'll
him
see
in
these
Die Hard with
characters.
a Vengeance? I don't remember that.
he was in Die Hard with a Vengeance.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't know if that's trolling or not, but I think they could easily just say that the JSA became another like superhero group after the Justice League is already established. So maybe they could just like change that from the comics, because like there's no way they can explain that the Justice Society has been around before the Justice League without there being some sort of like
The Justice
retcons or
League Initiative.
inconsistency. The what?
Well, they're all Black Ops. I mean, they're all working for Waller. So she.
I mean, I guess, but then why would you have a Suicide Squad?
Well, your Suicide Squad is
For
for
the
people
bad
like you
guys.
said, that are throwaway. Those are I'm going to disavow you if you guys screw up missions. All those characters are literally throwaway characters and throwaway humans. So you send them on missions, literally suicide missions that you don't expect them to come back on, and that you don't want to, use your top tier town. You don't want to put your top tier guys at risk, but you're going to put some prisoners, some rejects. Screw them. You can kill as many of them as you want to. But when it comes to the high end ones that that you need to have a public face, like the Justice League, Superman, it's a little bit different. We are even like the normal government. You have your army, and then you have those shady guys, and that are blurred out in the documentaries. So yeah, it lined up well for me.
Well, P.O. Box, please, no spoilers. This is also Blackout discussion, but I know there's spoilers about Game of Thrones. We're trying to make it till tomorrow. Please, no one.
Oh, please.
Anyone see that? You get a timeout. I'm just saying, anyone see that, immediately time them out. Because
They do that shit every
I'm not
year.
suggesting you would P.O. Box Christmas, but it's out there.
That last episode every damn year gets leaked out a day or two in advance.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's what me and Brian are gonna watch it on the computer screen probably. But
Do you think Peacemaker would ever join the JSA?
Not this version of Peacemaker. No, not at all.
Okay, thank you.
They'll have the similar issue that the JSA has with Black Adam. Like, I told you, stop killing people. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if he was more like the Captain America-ish knockoff that he was in the comics, maybe he would have. But
Or we could have a Rock versus John Cena moment.
Okay, okay. There's no way that could happen because first of all,
Black Adam appearing on Peacemaker would be fun.
Yeah, because let me tell you, if we're talking about a fight between Black Adam and Peacemaker, Black Adam just has to do this, and then he's dead. So
Well, it
no,
depends on who's writing it. Because Superman should be able to stomp on everybody, but there are, you could write a crafty way for him to beat him. It would still be ridiculous.
You
But
talking about that contrived fight that we got in Batman v Superman?
yeah, you had a guy with kryptonite who uses as a weakness. I mean, or actually, that goes all the way back to the Dark Knight Returns back in the 80s. That's the same way you beat him then. So
I know, but yeah,
it is make believe characters though. We gotta, anybody can beat anybody. It's like wrestling. It's all scripted. It depends on how the match is booked.
I guess so. But
yeah, she was great for the seconds that she was on.
Oh yeah, the
love
few
Viola
seconds that
Davis.
Viola Davis was on, of course.
Yeah.
She's great as Amanda Waller. I didn't even expect her to be in this movie, but I'm glad that
The
they did that in there.
Wallerverse. The Wallerverse.
The Wallerverse.
You don't need restored. It's there. She's the only one that's consistently gone through everything.
Yeah,
And
You know,
Brad
she's
Pitt-
also in, well, not the same actress, but she's also in, was it Green Lantern?
You've said this. Yes,
Oh,
you
yeah, Angela Bassett was Amanda Waller. That
But like I said, it was a good time at the movies, man. I mean,
And
it
she
was
became
over
Queen
the
of Wakanda.
top. What's up?
And then she became
Something about-
Queen of Wakanda.
Queen of Wakanda.
Oh yeah, that's another movie that I'm looking forward to. I mean, regardless of the fact that the decision making, that looks like an epic movie.
It
That
does
looks
look
like
like a
a
very
that has the look and feel of an Academy Award winning. Finally, maybe the first superhero movie to win Best Picture, depending on what comes out in between now and end of December.
Right.
It looks really good.
I hope I hope it's good. I have all the confidence in the world that Ryan Coogler is going to make a great film. But
Yeah.
I still think it's a mistake that they wrote out the character. But
Yeah, and I agree too. And I'm not gonna 100%, but I think I can watch that movie and enjoy it. And because I watch movies I enjoy all the time, where the movie makers make decisions that I'm not
Are
on
we
board with. And I
assuming
still
that
love them.
that's what they're doing?
I could only from what I've seen, they could blow our minds and give us something right in the middle of the movie that's just not in the trailer. I mean, I'm open to it. I'm
I'm open.
to everything.
Yeah, I'm open to it. Okay, so I want to rant real quick.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about ISIS and Amon. So I don't have a problem with ISIS. I thought ISIS was fine. The typical human supporting character to the superpowered hero. Helping him out throughout the movie. So I was like, okay, she's fine. She does her role. In the comics, she eventually is supposed to get superpowers as well. So I don't know if they're going to do that in the sequel or not. Maybe that's what they're setting up to, because she had a substantial enough role. So we'll see how that goes. But this kid, I fucking hate him. I hated
Oh, he's just
him.
a kid.
I don't care. I don't give child actors a pass.
Oh,
You're either good or you're not. And we've gotten to a point where child actors are good. But I'll say this: his performance
stay on
wasn't
target,
bad.
CJH.
Hold on, CJH. Let me get this out before you.
I got a question for this.
Okay, well, hold on. I will say the performance, the actor's performance, the kid, he wasn't bad himself. Just the writing, the dialogue that they gave for him was awful.
All this.
Awful. Put your diamonds up. What are we at, a Jay-Z concert? Like, what
since this is a spoiler discussion, what did the kid do that was annoying?
Everything that came
his
out
mere
of his mouth.
existence, apparently. CJH. His mere existence.
Okay, so without me being
wow,
facetious,
you have gone full heel tonight, Brian.
I mean, yeah, we got a heel on this panel. I love it. But without being facetious, let me be specific of what I didn't like about him. I didn't like the fact that he was being all fanboy with Black Adam. I thought that was just very cringy, and I felt like that was forced. Like trying to get him to say a catchphrase and stuff like that, like "Tell the man in black sent you." Like that was cringe, and him just like hyper fanboying out about everything and getting himself into trouble when he shouldn't. It's just this typical, kid actor like nonsense. It's like I didn't care for him at all. Like there was nothing really about him where I was like, oh, I really liked him. I just found him annoying. He felt like if you wrote him out the movie, I honestly feel like it wouldn't change that much. Like I understand symbolically why they had the kid there, because they wanted something to like tie in with the backstory with Black Adam's son, to have something, I guess, kind of reflect that in present day, sort of, but they don't really go into that enough. So he just came off as just like dead weight to me. I'm just going to be honest. I don't like trashing on child actors because I know not all of them can be like, an Oscar-winning actor, but it's like we've come so far with child actors. We've seen them get a lot better. But it's just like, why is he so annoying in this? Am I the only one here? Like,
no, and it wasn't him personally, but what it was okay. The dialogue in this movie was bad. For all the fun I had with this movie, the dialogue in this movie, in the verbiage, it was bad, and he's the tip of the spear of that, because they tried to funnel. It wasn't just a relationship with the son; it was a relationship between the city and the people and all that. They tried to funnel all that backstory through him, and it was just too much for one actor, kid or not, to bear. They needed to spread that story of the whole, outsiders coming in, stealing all our resources and all that. That did not need to go all through him. And it just made him annoying because it was just too much. And then the fanboy thing was a problem. But it, like I said, the dialogue, other than Black Adam himself and Pierce Brosnan, for the most part, the dialogue in the movie was something that they really needed to work on the next time out. And the kid was part of that because it was like clumps of story just being thrown at you like a wad of tissue paper. And it just hurt whatever character that was on. And it really hurt his character. And it just became annoying. Whenever I heard his voice, it's like, oh, not because I didn't like him or didn't like kids. It's because you're about to get a whole bunch of information that needed to come from several different characters or over time through this one kid in like a minute. And it just was, it became, it was bad. Like I said, but the dialogue, I will not give any excuse. The dialogue and whoever wrote the dialogue, wow. Keep at it.
Dialogue.
What about Karam?
About who?
Is that how you say his name? Karam?
Oh, the kid, I can't remember.
No, the older guy with the beard.
Oh, nope, didn't like him either. Now I didn't hate him as much as the teenage. I'm a good.
The brother.
Yeah,
the guy with glasses.
Yeah, the guy.
Oh yeah, the brother.
Yeah. Now I didn't think he was as bad as the kid, but I still didn't care for him that much either. I forgot he was in the movie like after a while, and I think
I like the scenes.
Okay, I mean, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm sure some
He
people
didn't kill the movie. He just didn't add a lot to it. Just like Sabak. Sabak added nothing to the movie.
Nothing.
If you go and just edit Sabak out of the movie, he has no effect on the movie at all.
Exactly.
And
It's literally
the little sand zombies that came out, and they're like, oh, whoa. Here's the sand zombies, and then the old people are beating them with sticks and killing them. I'm like, oh, that's not cool.
Like, is this Army of Darkness? Like, what's going on right now?
So it should have just been Black Adam versus Justice of Society.
Yeah, because there was enough philosophical differences between those two there to make the movie. You really didn't need to add a lot of things. His philosophy and especially juxtaposed on the city itself and them seeing him as a hero and those guys being the commission hero, there was enough conflict there to where they could have just left it at that. Sabak was a waste of time. I mean, the character that evolved from him was sort of okay, but he just didn't need to be in the movie. I didn't.
If you carry the whole character for who became Sabak, I think it works, William.
Do they
like
team
yeah, they do that, but once he became the end guy, it was like, okay, you're gonna.
I think they toned him down because of the PG-13.
Does Black Adam team up with the Justice League or Justice Society to fight Sabak?
Yeah, he was in the comics. He is a member of the Justice Society in some versions. So, but
he does team up to fight him. Yes, if that's your question.
Oh, okay, so it's a typical versus movie where they fight the.
It's like
the bigger bad.
Yeah. What I will say about like them pushing the PG-13 as much as they did, I don't think it's just because of Sabak. I think it's because like the kills that Black Adam does in this movie is really brutal. Like really, really brutal.
The first thing he does is he wakes up and he slowly fries this guy.
He chokes him out and incinerates him.
It's like Mortal Kombat fatalities. Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ.
And then one guy just got his arm ripped off. He was tossing a guy around and beating another guy with another guy, and it just rips his arm off. And I'm like, split the guy in half. So, yeah, the kills are borderline PG-13, but I know there's another version out there where there's some blood.
Yeah, I'm sure they had to cut some stuff out.
So there should be no excuse for, like, other movies that aren't R-rated.
If you stay away from blood, you're okay. Or if you do it in black and white and hide the blood, you can do pretty much whatever you want. Like the Batman.
Blood a different color.
The Batman, he's crushing people's heads with the same gauntlets that he's blocking bullets with. So we know those things are hard enough to crush human skull. But there's no blood on his gauntlets. I mean, the Batman, there's all kinds of kills happening, but they don't show it up close and they don't show blood. As long as you stay away from the blood, just like Werewolf by Night. That kept it tame because the whole thing was in black and white. That werewolf is ripping people's larynxes out. He's tearing people up, and people are getting killed and stabbed. No blood, black and white. There's blood there, but you can't see it. And it doesn't go to full color until the end. It's what they used to do in the comic. Read The Dark Knight Returns. All that mud-looking brown stuff, that's blood, but they got it past the editors because they turned it brown instead of red. So, yeah, PG-13 my ass, but it was still, like I said, the first thing he does is literally graphically electrocutes a guy in the dust.
Dust and skulls and bones, and it was amazing. It was absolutely glorious. Now, what I will say about the Sabak thing, for the Marvel fans that are waiting for Mephisto to come to the MCU, you might want to thank DC for paving the way for you. There you go.
They hope to do more than claymation, whatever. That's Sabak. There was one scene where Sabak was walking away from the throne. And I'm like, dude, I'm waiting for Ray Harryhausen from Clash of the Titans to come in and rearrange the thing. And it was that, but that character for me was just more of a filler. All this was a platform to launch into the next step. So I think it'll get better. I think a lot of stuff I could rip it apart about. By the time the next movies come out, they'll fix a lot. They'll get a better screenwriter. Please get a better screenwriter.
Right. And then another thing I wanted to talk about from a direction standpoint. I do want to talk about the director, John Collette-Serra. Is that his name?
I can't pronounce his name, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. He also directed Jungle Cruise. I don't know if he should come back to direct this either, because there are some really weird directing choices that he had in this movie as well. When we were talking about his brutal kills at the beginning, and then he's killing all those guys in the desert, there's some weird music choices that he puts in there, and then some strange slow motion, like he's trying
too much slow-mo for me. Too much slow-mo for me.
Yeah, normally I like the slow motion, but like you can tell that he's trying too hard to be Zack Snyder, and it doesn't look as good as how Zack Snyder did it. You know, it just was overused. It was really overused. Even I that like the slow motion, I felt like, man, it was overused. And like
every other move was slow motion. And I'm like, okay, all right, stop. But,
now, with the other action scenes, like he did pretty well for the most part, but there's like certain weird directing choices like that where I'm like, what are you doing? We're not doing a Bollywood film. Why are you putting this weird music while he's brutally killing people? Like, it's so weird. And then the editing is like kind of hyper all the time, ADHD sometimes. Sometimes you have some really cool shots of them fighting, but then you have some weird quick edits going on out of nowhere. I'm like,
does it feel like a Michael Bay movie?
Not a Michael Bay movie, more like a okay, I don't want to
You know what? I would go with that, because you know what? Michael Bay does what's asked of him, and I think that
Michael Bay's action is not focused. It's just like explosions all over the place.
It's just there. Yeah, you're right. This movie
is more choreographed action. I have a big issue with people saying Michael Bay. Michael Bay just looks like he filmed some shit in a car and then just threw some Transformers in it. He has no vision whatsoever.
Right. It's like I felt like there was like 4 different people directing. Yeah, like John Collette-Serra, I don't know if it's him doing it or if it's like the producers and The Rock telling them to do certain things, but it felt like there was 4 different directors shooting these action sequences. Some things that felt like it was something that Zack Snyder would direct, and then there's some things that felt like Michael Bay would direct, and then there's some things that that felt like J.J. Abrams, and then there's some things that felt like it was like a Bollywood movie. I'm like, what is up with these weird directing styles and edits? Like, it's not consistent sometimes, even though there's some really cool stuff, really cool
stuff. What about that
it's not all
scene
consistent.
with the big head Black Adam?
With the what?
With the close-up, extreme close-up to his face?
There's a lot of those.
Like, was the one falling? With Hawkman? Or is it the one
with Black Adam? There's an image going around online where.
Well, that's him. The one. Are you talking about the one where when he sees Superman, and they zoom in on his face? That one?
No, it's I don't know. He's like falling.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're saying. Like, yeah, it's that type of stuff where it's like it feels like it's being stylized for the sake of being stylized. That's kind of how I feel about it. So I don't know how I feel about John Collette-Serra. I really don't. I did like Jungle Cruise, but it did have similar like directing weird stuff. Like, what are your choices here? Why are you making this stuff? So I would want somebody else to direct. I know for some reason The Rock likes this director a lot, so we probably will see him again. But I think we need like
probably mold him and manipulate him to do whatever the hell he wants.
Do whatever he wants. Like, that's probably what happens here.
Your director guy, come here. Here's what we're gonna do, and that's pretty much what happens.
It's strange, man. But
just so we're clear, it's this image right here.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that. Where I'm like, why is his face up so close? Why does it look okay? All right.
That was one of the only few cinematography things that I didn't. But the rest of it, I loved the flying scenes on this one, and I really think once they shot all this movie and they shot it out of order, they just shot one scenes when they could, and then somebody looked at it and said, "Ooh, there's a lot of stuff in here I need to hide," and they basically laid the action over it and said, "Go really fast." Because it moves really fast. Yeah.
X-Men Apocalypse the shit out of this. But
even with all that, it's still a fun time.
Even with all that, it was such a fun time. I had a good time. There was some really cool stuff happening. Now, the only thing the only thing left to talk about, which I'm sure a lot of people are waiting for us to talk
Da,
about.
da, 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 da,
Henry
da,
Cavill is
da.
Superman. He is back. He is freaking back. My prayers have been answered. A lot of people's prayers have been answered. The Rock got Superman to appear, even if it's in a mid-credit scene and it's only like 8 seconds long.
And it's not headless.
It's not headless. It's him in the red, yellow, blue suit with the S curl. Like,
apparently they did film a headless cameo.
I didn't notice I didn't notice the S curl until I was watching videos today. Yeah, the S curl's there.
I couldn't hear the score. I couldn't hear the score. I couldn't hear. There were people that stood up and were yelling and shit,
freaking out. I literally had to.
I'm like, you guys all know he was in it. Even the people who knew exactly what was going to happen, they stood up. And one guy, one of my buddies, and I got a picture of him, and I'm going to hold it against him for the rest of our lives. He teared up. I'm like, you took your grown ass man to a superhero movie, and you got a glimmer in your eye.
I'm sorry.
It's because people are starving for a Superman movie.
Yeah, I'm totally starving. Like, I'm anorexic.
And not just Superman.
Content,
people like
bruh.
his version of Superman. I mean, you may not like some of the stories that he's been in, but his Superman is pretty popular.
Everything looks like a steak when you're hungry.
You know?
Oh, I wouldn't say that because we've been fed pretty well with superhero movies. Just
not for DC. Not for DC, man.
Well, let me say, like,
they're the most put upon fandom ever.
But I will say, like, I am happy that they were able to get Henry Cavill back. Now, we don't know for sure, like, everything that's going on. If we're going to get, they do say they're interested in having him come back to do a solo films and do crossovers with Black Adam, but nothing has been put to pen yet. But I'm hoping it is.
As far as we know.
You believe that.
So it's not officially.
Hey, I didn't say I don't think it's going to happen. I didn't say I don't think it's going to happen. I'm sure they're still in negotiations.
We don't know everything that's signed already. It would be really stupid if they released the movie and said, now let's negotiate. You pay them more than if it blows up.
I mean, hey, they didn't shoot Dune. They didn't shoot Dune Part 1 and Part 2 back to back. Then they should have.
That was poor management because they should have because they would have saved themselves almost $100 million by doing it that way. And I think that here's the thing: I would bet good money that there is an agreement worked out. We're never going to know the details, even if it is signed, sealed, delivered, because of this. From when you hear them talk, the forward momentum was the most important thing here, and not just leaving you hanging. And what DC prior management does is just left you hanging. They disrupt things with nothing to replace those things. Like I said, we wouldn't be talking about the whole restore to Snyderverse thing anyway if they had decided once they wanted to move away from Zach's vision that we have something else kick-ass. Mad Max has got the script for these next 3 or 4 movies, and we think it's superior to what Zack Snyder's doing. We're going to roll that right in. No, we're not going to wait 5 years. We're not going to wait 2 and 3 years and not let your fans know what's going on. Forward momentum is important. That's why I think that was just the beginning with Cavill and all that. Yeah, it's all, nobody knows for sure, but come on. I'm using the common sense meter here, and this crew in the last 3 or 4 months, as whether you like their decisions or not, they seem to lean more towards common sense than the previous regime did. And common sense would say that he wouldn't even have been in there, if there wasn't a plan going forward and if it wasn't a guarantee plan going forward.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. So the only thing left that we need to know about is what they're going to do about Batman in the DCU. That's the only thing. We almost got the Trinity complete because Gal Gadot's still here as Wonder Woman, and we're getting Henry Cavill back. So we just need to know what they're going to do with Batman going forward. And then I'll feel a little bit more confident of how the DCU is going to be molded after this point. But lost my train of thought. I was going to say something.
Sucks getting old.
What'd you say?
It sucks getting old, doesn't it? You start forgetting shit in mid-sentence.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, actually, yeah, I do remember. So, okay, so let me address the Snyder people real quick. Let me address,
who are those?
Yeah, let me
Please
address.
show them, point them out, Brian.
Nowhere on this panel.
Yeah, let me address the Snyder. I guess I don't want to call him the Snyder cult, but like you guys,
the fans or the extremist?
Probably both.
I'm a fan, but I'm not an extremist. So I'm in one camp, but I'm not in the other.
Exactly. So let me address everybody. So they probably have similar issues. So I know
people love to say this.
Okay, Snyderverse is dead.
It's
Okay.
DCEU.
Oh God, we're not arguing these against each other.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. You're doing that. So let's have a talk. Let's have a heart to heart, Snyder fans.
Yes, please.
So you guys know, I love Zack Snyder. I really like him as a filmmaker. I've enjoyed all of his movies except for Sucker Punch. I'm not really a big fan of Sucker Punch, but for the most part, I've enjoyed his films, and I've enjoyed what he's done with the DC movies, regardless of like the stuff that WB wanted to push on him with making a cinematic universe or having him do these weird decisions with the characters. Like, I still like his vision, and I really loved what he did with the Snyder Cut. I really do, and I want to see Justice League 2 and 3 just as much as you guys. I want that to happen. Of course I do. But we have to be realistic here. We have to be.
Huh? You lost me.
Yeah, we have to use logic. Logic here. I don't know how likely that's going to be, that we're going to get the exact vision that Snyder wanted for 2 and 3 to this point, because he has other priorities now. He's doing a whole bunch of stuff on Netflix. WB still doesn't 100% want to bring him back. Even with the new regime, they're still unsure of bringing him back. And even if they wanted to do Justice League 2 and 3.
But the internet told me he's coming back.
The internet says a lot of things. Right? Like, you just Google anything and go to Wikipedia.
You'll find it. Okay.
You'll find
anything you want.
You find anything you want. But even if they want to do Justice League 2 and 3, do you know how expensive that is? Do you know how much it will take to get all the actors to come back and to get all the pieces together? And then it's like, they're still unsure. I mean, and the Ezra Miller situation as well. Now, and then on top
what
of
is
that
noise?
That was
stay on topic. That's Brian's phone.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Just trying to get this out there. And on top of that, they still don't know if they want to make the 2017 version canon or this Snyder Cut canon. They're still up in the air about that. And I guess we won't truly know that until the Flash comes out and we see where they're going to go direction-wise, or if they're just going to reset certain things.
They're not going to reset anything. There's that reboot. Like, I don't think they're going to reset anything, because, like I said, reboot is a synonym for stupid. And I think that most people that are smart and are in corner offices understand that. As far as with the whole Zack Snyder thing, listen, like I said before, I was somewhere else I said before, this thing has festered and grown into a monster because the prior management let it, because there was no resolution. There doesn't need to be a restore to the Snyderverse. There just needs to be a resolve to the Snyderverse. Hashtag conclude the Snyderverse. Until they do something like that, it does not need to be in 2 or 3 movies or anything like that. But the biggest thing that has always hurt them is credibility. Why am I going to give you any of my new money when you mishandled my old? Why should I invest my time in months and years into these storylines when at any point in time you could pull the rug out from under me? And until they resolve that for their own credibility in some way, shape, or form, it's always going to hang over any versions of the management's ways. Now, as far as how it happens, it doesn't need to happen now. See, the most important thing that people don't realize that happened with Black Adam is there is no even hope for anything without Superman on the chessboard. There is no game without certain things in play. So the first step is having, he's the most important part of all of that vision. He's back on the playing field. Now we just sit back and wait and see who, let the 2 chess players, all the chess players, make their next move. It doesn't all have to happen in 3 months. What you're saying is an absolute, but it only if you're thinking like in the next 3 to 6 months. It doesn't have to even be that way. Let these guys who seem to be on a right path lay out a landscape, and then at some point in time, if it fits, we can do things. But as far as Zach being busy at Netflix, listen, people can walk and chew gum at the same time. Ridley Scott was 82, 83 years old, working on 3 films simultaneously.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that was good.
Yeah, but you know what? 2 of them were Oscar nominated, so he's doing okay. Like I said, we think that the capabilities of these people who are in the 1 percentile of their field, and we kind of line them up with me. I couldn't do it. I'm a bonehead. I couldn't direct this mouse going from left to right. But I'm not a director. I'm not a professional producer. I don't have the resources. I don't have studios where I can do multiple projects in the same studio, in the same sound stages if I want to. So the capabilities of what we're thinking is beneath what these guys can actually do. Not saying that this is going to happen, but a lot of these factors, it's just a matter of wait. We got the first step to whatever. The most important thing is on the chessboard is Superman. Henry Cavill's Superman. Now we go forward. All these people that he's casted are still there. And there's you have time to just let it roll out. I couldn't say that 6 months ago because you had mismanagement involved. But like I said, I like where they're headed. And the fact that he tells you we're not going to do everything that you guys want. But the most important thing is that you know that we hear you. I didn't hear that from 2013 all the way to 2021.
Okay, I'm going to use the word reboot, obviously.
Oh, my God.
But could they do a soft reboot where Black Adam is kind of the start of this? It's still the same universe, but they actually have a plan going forward.
What you're saying is a realignment. Yeah, they could definitely doing that now. That's pretty much what I think they're doing now. Is change the focus of the same universe instead of trying to reboot the universe. That's kind of what they're doing.
So they
now.
Could go like Batman, Superman, blah blah blah, with Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck and all that, right?
If Ben Affleck wants to come back, But I say all this to say, like, I'm not going to completely write out the possibility of us getting Justice League 2 and 3 from Zack Snyder, but like, I just have to be realistic of where WB is, right now and what direction they want to go into. I'm open to them going in a new direction, because I've liked the most of the DC films that we've gotten up until this point. I'm a DC fan, even though I'm a Snyder. I like Snyder's movies. I'm a DC fan before I'm a Snyder fan. So that's bottom line. And at the end of the day, I want good DC movies. But if they want to go in a different direction than what Snyder's doing, as long as it's good, as long as you're giving all these DC characters equal attention and you're putting Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman front and center, I'll be okay with whatever direction they want to go into. But if I'm wrong, and like 5-10 years down the line, we get Justice League 2 and 3 somehow, some way, I will be just as excited as I was, when the first movie came out. So
I mean, there's more characters in the intro for DC than there are movies.
Right, so this is their chance for them to expand the DC, pantheon and give these other characters their own movies. We're about to get a Blue Beetle film, so they're expanding. Hopefully we'll get a Green Lantern movie at some point. We're about to get Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, Wonder Woman 3. So they're starting to branch out the DC universe more, so I just hope they
need Darkseid to come back to rein all this shit in a few years.
They do. They can't,
make a big event. Yes.
Right. So
and that's why I think it's going to happen. I think what the current creators are doing will eventually line up to that eventuality, because the biggest bad that they currently have out there.
And then you can pick and choose what you want to continue.
Exactly. You can pretty much make a composite storyline. Would it be exactly how it would have ended? But no, I don't need it to be. I just need a resolution to the biggest thing that they had started, in order to completely trust them going forward. But at what time frame it happens, it doesn't have to happen anytime soon. Here's the thing, though. As long as you have a plan in place and there's just not this void of nothingness, because like I said, when you leave gaps, people fill those gaps with bullshit. YouTubers fill that gap with bullshit. Pundits fill that gap with bullshit. When you don't have a plan, somebody starts speculating about the plan you should have. There's a plan. So let's see what I'm more than willing to see what the plan is.
Yeah, let's have an
Their
open
plan
mind.
Could be Crisis with like combining all these.
It could, but like they have to be well established before they even think about touching Crisis.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to confuse a lot of people, and if you confuse people, they will not give you their money the second.
Well, I mean, they do it in the CW shows.
Yeah, and it's garbage. Garbage.
$12 budget. You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars on the line. So I don't know.
So if they're smart, they would, they have to get everything else right and in order before they even do that. So hopefully they won't make the same mistake. But I just ask Snyder fans and DC fans, Marvel fans, just have an open mind.
Brian already checked out on this.
Snyder, I mean, that's fine. We already lost them. We lost them like an hour ago. But Okay, I think we covered everything. Is there anything else you guys want to mention before we start doing grades and closing this out?
Nah, just have fun with this stuff. One of the fun things about this movie is that, like I said, you really don't have to analyze it. All I had to do is go in, recline my seat, and just let it happen. And I was more, it was more fun for me that way. I didn't have to really break it down. We've broken it down here, but when I left that theater, the atmosphere with the people who had just left, they made it fun. I mean, they made this movie fun for the crowd, and the crowd made it amplified what the movie was. And a lot of the little stuff you can overlook because of that. So just have fun. I think fun is the key word here.
Absolutely. So overall, I'll start with grades. Overall, I did have a really fun time with this movie. I thought it was very entertaining. I will watch this again. Though I can, I thought Dwayne the Rock Johnson, man, his Black Adam really surprised me. I thought he was very good. This is one of his better performances, that I've seen, in his films. And I thought the JSA was really good. I really want to see them in a solo JSA movie. Hopefully they get more development there, but I thought all four of them were really, really good. I thought the action sequences for the most part were really thrilling to watch. It was almost Man of Steel level craziness. I just thought it was just a really fun time. Now the story, weak. The dialogue, piss poor. The editing and direction, creative choices were questionable, but it was such a thrill ride. It was just fun to watch. As William said, I had a good time watching this, regardless of how many flaws I could see in this movie. I had a good time, and I think that's all that. At the very least, what you can do is have us be invested in the characters and have a entertaining, fun time. And that's the very least.
$62 million so far. $62 million so far for Black Adam,
right?
Yahoo.
And it's like getting Henry Cavill back as Superman. I'm excited about that. So
I request to go after Brian because we don't want to heat him to raise hell and then leave at this last review.
That's fine.
I'll go after Brian.
So overall,
what? I'm not even listening. What are you talking about?
We're gonna give reviews.
You're gonna give our final thoughts and grades. So I'm gonna start things.
Talking about Bruce Bochy managing another team instead of the Giants. What the hell is that about?
No.
Oh boy, but
he was the Padres manager, so not bad.
But yeah, so this probably will piss some certain people off, but I don't really care. And overall, I'm gonna give Black Adam I'm gonna give it a B, 8 out of 10. It's good. I enjoyed myself. Go ahead, William.
I gave it a 7.5. Like I said, there's a lot in there that you could really rip it apart about, but it moves fast enough. It's paced fast enough to where it was a very enjoyable night out at the movies. And sometimes that's just all I need. I don't need the brain surgery type movies. Sometimes I just want to watch things blow up and people get their asses whipped, and it checked those boxes for me.
Yep. CJ8. Oh wait, you didn't see it yet.
No.
Okay, Brian, if you care to give your final thoughts and grades on this.
Okay. My final thoughts. It was okay. I wasn't over the top about it. Seemed like a run-of-the-mill comic book movie at this stage in the race. I mean, I understand if I was a DC fan and I was in the desert and just any drink of water at this point is sustenance. So, but no, I just it's all good, man. I think you guys are funny sometimes. That's all. The way you guys pick and choose what movies you want to defend and then what movies you don't want to defend.
I'm not really the defense. That's an honest opinion. It was a mess of a movie, but it was still fun.
I mean, I'm just saying, just okay, to be fair, and just take this as an honest criticism.
Sure.
If this was a Marvel movie, you'd have torn it to shreds by now.
No, because there's been plenty of Marvel movies
just for being mediocre.
Dude,
I think we're giving this movie a curve, a grading curve, because there hasn't been anything to judge it against.
No. It is as advertised. It wasn't supposed to be Endgame. It was supposed to be Black Adam, and that's all it was.
Now here's the thing.
That's what I said. It was the most mid ever.
Now here's the thing.
I said, and I stand by that.
Yeah. Do you have a grade for it?
C. That's a mid grade.
Okay.
C minus. C minus.
Oh, C minus. Okay.
Yeah,
You had it that quick.
If this is the
Yeah.
new plan or whatever, this is kind of
God.
like comparing Iron Man to the rest, the first Iron Man to the rest of.
Okay, CJ,
Yeah.
we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that.
Where are you going with this?
But-
I don't even know where you're going with that, CJH.
But
I'm
yeah,
giving a score. We're giving scores now.
yeah. Hold on, Max. Before I give you that, it's She-Hulk. I actually like She-Hulk. It's not a good show, but I had a fun time with it. I could have tore that to shreds, and you know how I feel about the Marvel shows. So
True.
if you're thinking I'm trashing on Marvel shows for no reason,
That's
I
a good
actually
comparison.
tried to lock them.
She-Hulk is enjoyable, but there's some messy things about it. Yes.
Yes.
Wow,
But yeah.
dude, the Padres cannot stop anybody from scoring. What the hell?
All right, go ahead,
sorry.
I
Max.
hope they lose, man. Fuck the Padres. I said that
Good.
loud.
Hey,
This movie exceeded my expectations because I didn't just get a Black Adam movie. I got a JSA movie, and I thought they were going to be underserved, and the JSA was amazing. Hawkman and Dr. Fate exceeded my expectations, and the surprises were Cyclone and Atom Smasher, and the budding relationship there too. They were a lot of fun. The villain, my only criticisms of this film are some of the jokes didn't land, and the villain, I think the villain was set up well. I think if you watch from the beginning, the person that eventually became Sabak really that story went all the way through, except when he became Sabak. I think he could have been a more intimidating and a better CGI.
I was waiting for Mario to come
and
through
it
with
was
a hammer.
it movie stands on itself, not just the cameo at the end.
Go.
Well,
Power
and I
Rangers.
love knowing the cameo was there ahead of time, because then I could just sit back and enjoy and not think the whole movie in suspense. Are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? So I was very happy. 8 out of 10. I love watching this movie. It's a superhero movie just to be a superhero movie. It's not trying to be anything else. It's just trying to be a popcorn movie. I loved it.
Awesome. Well, that is our thoughts on Black Adam. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment your thoughts down below or in the chat, because we're still going, and let us know. So, before I relinquish my powers to Max again, I just want to let you guys know, for the people that are watching on the MME channel, if you guys want to see more of my content, check out the link in the description. It'll take you to my channel, which is I Am DL, which I talk about all different shows and movies and stuff like that. As I said earlier in the stream, you'll see some DC content, you'll see some Marvel content, you see some Star Wars content, you'll see Netflix stuff, all different types of stuff I talk about. So if you want to see Star Wars, of course. So if you want to see all my crazy takes on things, check out the link in the description. And the next DC project, of course, I'll be talking about is, I think, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I think that's the next one that comes out. And I still haven't talked about Peacemaker, so I should probably talk about that too in DC League of Super Pets, whatever.
Let's get them to 500.
No, we're not DC League of Super Pets.
subscribers.
Yeah, I need some content, bro. Yeah, give me some 500 subscribers too. If you like what I do, please like and subscribe. I'm on the road to 500 subscribers. Please go to my channel and subscribe if you enjoy what I do. I'm also going to do a separate DC video, which is something I'm working on. I'm not going to say what it is. It's going to be a surprise. But I have a special DC video I'm going to be working on, so tune in for that as well. But that's all I have for you guys.
His channel.
It's
and stay tuned. Stay right where you're at, everyone, because we're going to do To The Max right after this. It's just we're going to shut off the multi-streaming on DL's, and it's going to be multi-stream on mine and Brian's channel. So stay right where you're at. But this is DL's channel.
This is my channel. You see, I already got She-Hulk up, and we talked about Werewolf by Night, and we talked about the re-release of Avatar and stuff like that. So I already got some cool stuff for you. So check that all out. But I'd like to thank Brian, William, Max, and CJH for joining me on this discussion. I had a lot of fun.
Evil Brian. I like this new Brian. This is Hill Brian. I like this. This is when
Heel Brian.
Completely chaos.
NWO Brian.
Exactly. It was not complete chaos because I like order
I'm just kidding,
on
Brian.
my channel. Yeah, Brian, we love you regardless of what you love.
I can
and
hear
what
him now.
you
All
don't
you
like.
fans can suck it.
No. We always love to have your opinions, man.
Seriously, man.
Okay, so you're in charge, DL. Just let me know when to switch
Come
the
down
button.
the mountain.
Okay, yeah, okay. So
Oh, don't do like
I'm gonna say
AWO
goodbye.
did.
Okay, I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody. Talk to you guys next time. Check out the Maxx stream that's about to happen
Wait.
right now. Maxx, do your thing.
Don't accidentally end the broadcast.
That was
I'm not.
hilarious.
Okay, so we are saying goodbye to DL's
Oops, wrong.
channel.
I got it.
No, not your channel, just for the stream.